We've all heard stories about North Korea, right? That it's one of the strictest, most secretive places on Earth. But what does that actually mean for the people who live there day to day? Well, we're going to dig into the rules that control literally every part of a person's life, and this is all based on accounts from people who actually escaped. And believe me, it all starts from a place that is just shocking. Just listen to this quote. A child is born in North Korea, but at birth, the innocent child is declared a traitor. How is that even possible? It sounds completely backwards, but as you'll see, it's baked into the very foundation of North Korean society. So to get our heads around how a newborn baby could possibly be labeled a traitor, we gotta take a quick step back. We need a little bit of context to understand how this state of absolute control ever came to be. And the story really kicks off right after World War II. So picture this. 1945, the war ends, and Korea gets split in two. The North falls under Soviet influence, the South under American. By 1948, Kim Il-sung is in charge, and the Kim dynasty begins. Then comes the devastating Korean War. But here is the most important part. A peace treaty was never, ever signed. Technically, they are still at war. And that constant state of conflict is the justification for the insane level of control that the Kim family, now under Kim Jong-un, still has today. That history created the perfect storm for a society where pretty much your entire life, we're talking your job, where you live, even how much food you get, is locked in the moment you're born. The whole thing is built on a system called Songbun. Now, the easiest way to think of it is like a hereditary social credit score, but it has nothing to do with what you do. It's all about what your parents and your grandparents and even your great-grandparents did. Their loyalty to the regime, or lack thereof, literally dictates your entire future. And this Songbin system has three main tiers. Up at the top, you have the core class. These are the descendants of war heroes and the absolute party elites. They get the best jobs, the best education, the best everything. In the middle, you've got the wavering class, and this is where most people fall. Their ancestors were just kind of neutral peasants, laborers. They get by, but they're watched constantly. And then there's the bottom, the hostile class. If your ancestors were, say, landowners or religious or, and this is the kicker, if they had family in South Korea, you're branded for life. You're destined for forced labor and given the worst of everything. And that is how a child can be born a traitor. Okay, so you have this incredibly rigid social structure. How on earth do you keep people from questioning it? Simple. You build a wall around their minds. You control absolutely everything they see, hear, and think. You put them inside a total information bubble. And this comparison just says it all, doesn't it? We have the global internet with billions of websites. They have a closed-off national internet with a few dozen state-run sites. There is no Google, no YouTube, no connection to the outside world. It's a completely sealed digital ecosystem where every single move is watched. And this is a total lockdown. We're talking every TV channel, every radio station, every newspaper. It's all state propaganda, all the time. If you get caught watching a South Korean TV show or a Hollywood movie on a bootleg USB drive, that could mean years in a labor camp. Even just calling a relative in another country without permission is a serious crime. Now, this level of control doesn't just stop at what you can watch or read. No, it goes so much deeper. It gets into the most personal, tiny details of your life. This is what it means to live life under a microscope, where being an individual is basically seen as a crime. I mean, get this, your hairstyle. You can't just get whatever haircut you want. Nope. The government has a list of state-approved hairstyles you have to choose from. Anything else is considered a sign of decadent, Western influence, and it is strictly forbidden. And the same exact logic applies to what you wear. Blue jeans? Banned. They're seen as a symbol of American imperialism. Dyeing your hair a foreign color? Banned. Wearing a t-shirt with English words on it? You guessed it. Banned. It's all about enforcing this idea of cultural purity. Think about your freedom to just go somewhere, to hop in a car and visit family in another town. Well, in North Korea, you can't do that. To travel from one city to another, you need to apply for and receive an official government permit. Your own country is like a series of checkpoints. So what about owning things? Like your own home or business? Yeah, that idea doesn't exist either. The state owns everything, all the land, every apartment, every single business. People are just allowed to use them, and that permission can be taken away in a heartbeat. And of course, this extends to what you believe. practicing any religion is strictly illegal because the state demands 100% of your devotion be directed to the Kim family. They are, for all intents and purposes, the state religion. Now, you might see pictures of a few churches in the capital, but defectors say those are completely fake. They're just for show, to trick foreign visitors into thinking there's religious freedom. So you've got all these insane rules controlling every single aspect of your life. How does the regime actually enforce all this? Well, through a constant, never-ending series of loyalty tests. And the price for failing is beyond anything you can imagine. Look at this number, 3. What do you think that represents? It's the number of generations of a single family that can be punished for one person's political crime. It's the infamous 3-generation punishment rule. If you're accused of treason, not only do you go to a prison camp, but so do your children and your grandchildren. They are born into punishment. They're born traitors. Even things that look democratic are twisted into loyalty tests. Let's take a look at a North Korean election. First, you have to vote. It's mandatory. Second, there's only one candidate on the ballot. And third, if you decide not to show up, well, that's considered an act of treason. So what's the result? 100% turnouts, with 100% of the vote going to the only candidates. Shocker, right? But you see, it's not about choice. It's a performance. It's a way for every single citizen to publicly perform their loyalty and for the states to claim total, unwavering support. And these tests never stop. People have to go to weekly self-criticism meetings where they confess their ideological failures, like maybe not working hard enough for the glory of the leader. Every home, by law, has to have portraits of the first 2 Kims, and you better keep them perfectly clean, or you'll be in serious trouble. So, after hearing all of this, the haircuts, the fake elections, the generational punishment, it all brings us to the biggest question of all. Why? Why go to these absolutely extreme lengths to control an entire population? What is the point of it all? Well, according to the source material from defectors, it all boils down to one word: survival. The regime's survival. They are terrified that if any real information from the outside world gets in about its wealth, its culture, its freedoms, it would spark a rebellion. The whole system is built for one purpose: to keep the Kim family in absolute godlike power. And all the international sanctions against them have only made them double down on this isolation. And finally, as we wrap this up, it's so important to remember where this information comes from. Because North Korea is so completely sealed off, we can't just go there and verify these things. This is all based on the incredibly brave and harrowing stories of people who have defected, people who risked everything to escape. It's their accounts that give us the only real glimpse we have into what life is actually like inside North Korea.